It's been a minute. It's definitely been a minute. I'm sorry for that. I don't have no excuse. I can say everything under the blue moon, but it's still an excuse. I could have came and spoke to you guys some more, but I did it. But since we're at the end of the year, I think I just wanted to come here, slow down, take a minute to reflect on my year, DJing, the venues, the highs, the lows. I just think that to give a glimpse of what reality is as a DJ, especially specifically up here in Seattle, Washington. Boom. So, how did my year start off? Quite honestly, I would say it started off pretty consistent, pretty heavy. I was, getting to do a multitude of events for the first time, a lot of different venues. I got booked to play, whether that be via the venue themselves or even another DJ asking, hey, can you come spin this, that, and the third? So I've been, I started off pretty good. I feel like I've definitely grown sonically as a DJ. And what I mean by sonically is just being able to continuously read a room and direct them, but also still please them. That's something that I had a pretty big battle with myself early on, and even up until recently was my DJ career. And it's just that I cared so much about the art of DJing that I was like realistically pushing it down people's throats who weren't ready from it. It's some people who really are just coming out to the club to have a good time, and that's who I'm supposed to cater to, and that's why I do what I do. I really love giving people, songs and sounds that they may not have haven't heard in years. I just really love how music can communicate with one another, no matter what differences we may have. So nonetheless, I definitely think I've grown up very much as a DJ. The highlight of my year, I got to DJ and open up for DJ Jazzy Jeff. I got the call. It was an alley-oop, like ridiculously. Like I was super ecstatic. I killed the set. A lot of people said today, you think that was one of my best sets ever, which, always means a lot as a DJ when you hear that. Even though, you always feel like you can do better, it is good to hear it coming from those from the outside. Now, kind of after that, I did kind of plateau a little bit. It was a lot of venues that I had really, really wanted to consistently play at. But at this point in the game, like I just really feel like I'm at that waiting period where my name is in talks, but it's not the topic of the conversation. And what I mean by that is I just haven't made a mark enough yet to be consistently reached out to. That's something that I just had to accept. Oftentimes, as a DJ, especially if you're starting off or just hitting that the early part of your career, because I've only been playing at this point 6 years. And it feels like forever, but in reality, it's really not. And that's something that I had to internalize. Like, yo, Smooth, slow down. Like, you're cool. Like, you're not lagging. You're doing gigs that you've always wanted to do. Be grateful for what you have. Because it's plenty of DJs who's probably colder than me who live in, West Olive, Michigan, some random place that doesn't really have a nightlife, but they have a knack for DJing. They just never really had that opportunity. I know it's a crazy, anecdotal story, but nonetheless, it's just, putting it in perspective. Some of the things that I'm grateful for DJing wise is, I was blessed to be able to afford a pair of CDJs so I could force myself to learn how to play sticks. Although I haven't got that call to come and drop a set, using them, as a DJ, I really, really feel like we have to learn all the equipment that we can. I'm not saying you have to master anything. I'm not saying that you have to say, you're a subject matter expert on every single one of them. But at a minimum, you should know how to connect, whether it's your laptop, whether it's your stick, how to connect. Let's say, the venues using needles on turntables. Like, do you know how to connect that? I personally, it is a gripe of mine. I don't care. DJ Twitter, DJ Threads, you can really say what you want. I don't care. Stop bringing your SB3, your FLX2, and putting it on top of $10,000 worth of gear. At a minimum, you get you a A9 and 4 CDJs. That's 10 to 12,000 off rip, and the AV now has to work so much more because your DJ controller sound card just isn't club standard. And it's not a knock to you saying that, oh, you got to have all this money and buy this. No, not at all. You have to work with what you had. But that's one thing in particular that I think helped make myself and a lot of other DJs thrive is you were forced to adapt and play. I came right before stems was really a thing. My first 3 years of DJing, I think really gave me an advantage because I was still forced to DJ with just EQs. and that made you learn how to incorporate acapellas, intros, outros, actually how to find and source them, because a lot of people go and rip them from YouTube, and I'm not gonna hold you. I'm honestly not that against it. The average sound like aficionado probably wouldn't even notice the difference if you were in a club environment and you were enjoying yourself. I really feel like, sometimes us as DJs, we definitely get overtly picky on topics that are genuinely irrelevant to the club. But nonetheless, outside of the CDJs, what else was I able to do? I had the Rain Performer, and I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be a hot take. I just did not like the Rain Performer. Don't kill me, Rain Police. The sound card, phenomenal. Build quality, phenomenal. Layout, dope. I really had no complaints for the controller, except it just was not for me, and that's okay. I come primarily from Pioneer recently, but I started off with a Pioneer deck. Then I got the Newmark NS7, switched back to an SX2, got an SRT 1000. So I had started off with my foundation being the club style layout, with the cue points down at the bottom, and 4 channels. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. But just because as I've adapted as a DJ and I learned how to play my style correctly for how I like it, is battle style, which is, 2 decks and a mixer in the middle with just 2 channels. And in this case, having the cue points at the top. My workflow is just better that way. It's more comfortable for me. And if you like it, I love it for you. Like, please don't take offense to it. I just was not a big fan of it. Also, the weight. I'm a big guy. I'm, decently strong. But at the same time, 60, 70 pounds down Seattle streets, up and down. It just was not a good time. And to me, in reality, did I need the flight case? No, I could have gotten a bag and just put it on my shoulder, which I did end up doing eventually, but it was too little too late. And I actually downgraded to some people when I switched back to a Rev 7. And I've been happy with it ever since, to be quite honest. It just fits me. Other DJ gear. I got a pair of AAA headphones. It was a gift to myself for Christmas. As you get older, you don't really expect but so much. But I decided to try and get a new pair. I typically listen with Pioneer XDJ 7s. Phenomenal, headphone. Honestly, they still are probably my preferred, and I'm gonna get into it just real quick. But those AAA, I made them custom. I pretty much had everything one tier lower than the maximum. I didn't want the wireless transceiver and the Bluetooth capability. I just felt like, for me, instead of just focusing on plugging in your headphones and getting ready to rock, it was a lot more easier on my mind because I didn't have to think about, damn, is my battery bank charged? Do I have the dongle? Do I have any extra thing? And granted, it's only 1 or 2 things. Putting it back in the night, it's it's easy. Definitely, I acknowledge that. But just for me, I'm notorious for leaving chargers at events. That's just, I have a cluttered mind sometimes. So for me, I'm gonna stick with my wired. But nonetheless, the AAAs, they're solid. They're definitely solid. I have little ears, but a big head. So for me, and regardless, I just think it's gonna be hard unless it's something pretty big and encapsulating. I'm just not going to really gravitate to it too much, but I am going to continue to play with them. I do like to give things a chance to grow on me. I do like the lightweight. I do think that black with the green wire is just chef's kiss. Like, it's subtle coloring, but then that green really highlights that, hey, you're using your headphones, if that makes sense. What else? That's probably about it for me in the equipment game. I didn't really get in anything too much. I did not have a lot of private gigs at all. In reality, I think I only brought out my EVs like 10, 12 times. That's okay. It is what it is. But how's your guys' 2025? Like, let me know in the comments. Again, I know it's been a minute, but I really, really do appreciate you guys. I started posting a lot more towards the end of the year. My YouTube is definitely going up. We're past 50 subscribers, so thank you guys. I'm gonna consistently keep uploading. I'm gonna start getting more videos going around, but nonetheless, it's dope. I really do appreciate you guys, and I'm gonna catch you guys in 2026.